You're this perp back with another video. I just got done watching Lovecraft Country Season 1, Episode 9. This is the penultimate episode. Season finale is next weekend, man. These have been some amazing back-to-back episodes, man. I'm just blown away at how well shot and just how well they are telling this story. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and follow me on Twitter at perpminded420. I don't want to waste no more time. Let's get right into it. So, where this episode starts off with Dee kind of being cursed and whatnot, and whatever was following her in the last episode got a hold of her, and we got a lot of reveals, and one being Letty. Letty lets everybody know that, she's the one that gave Christina the Titus's pages and whatnot, and everybody kind of, especially Montrose, kind of looks at her kind of differently. Tick is a little ticked off, no pun intended. But we really get to see how Christina is working and how relentless she is, and the way she's able to kind of control a certain situation. They reach out to Christina for help because they feel like she's the only one that could kind of help Dee through this curse, but her only thing that she wants in return is Atticus to come back with her so she can do this little ritual for her to become immortal. So they do this little ritual, I guess, and Hippolyta comes back, and you're wondering like where she's been this whole entire time. And they need somebody that is close enough in blood to kind of help Dee get over this curse. So she's able to get back to normal, but she's still unconscious, which there's still some work to be done. And we also get the reveal of Montrose telling Atticus who his real father is, and telling him that George is your real father. And Atticus does not take this news really lightly, especially with everything going on. It was really bad timing, let's just say that. So going back to Letty and Ruby, Letty is really worried about Ruby just being around Christina. She doesn't really trust Christina, knowing that Christina's going to do Atticus harm. You could tell Ruby doesn't really care, but she really cares about his sister. She really cares about her well-being first and foremost, more than Atticus's. But she's definitely not completely dumb and unaware of the situation, so she does kind of keep an open mind to what Letty is talking about. Now, going back to Hippolyta and why this is so dope for her to come back, because she comes back with like 200 years of knowledge and just knowing everything. She just knows everything, knows how to fix the whole problem with Dee, and they come to the solution that they have to go back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, back in 1921. This is where things get really interesting, and we get into the whole time travel aspect of this whole entire series. I really liked how they dived into it, and they made Hippolyta that character. That was really dope. Going back to Ruby, and she kind of checks Christina, just like, are you really going to hurt Atticus? And Christina's been pretty upfront with Ruby thus far, even though she knows she's getting played, but Ruby can't help it but to have this urge for power. And she pretty much says to her, like, she doesn't really care about Atticus, just don't hurt my sister. Which, I don't know, she might be planning something of her own. We're just gonna have to wait and see in the finale. Now the gang goes to Kentucky to use the time travel machine to go back to Tulsa, and you see Montrose really not feeling it. He's kind of having like some PTSD. He's drinking a lot, and we get a lot more backstory on Montrose and just his upbringing and the reason why he is who he is. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed them kind of blending in, minus, Letty still wearing sneakers and stuff. It really made her kind of stand out throughout this episode. But she really, she's just been killing it this season with the fashion. But anyways, like I said, we're getting a lot more backstory on Montreux and how tragic his backstory is, and how Tick is relentlessly like just going at him emotionally, like just he's frustrated, he's pissed off, he's mad, he just wants to just take out all his frustrations out on him because of all the things that Tick went through as a kid. And he's starting to feel regret for this, and even Tick sees this, and you can kind of see how he can understand where this all comes from and whatnot. And it's really dope to see all this. So Montrose tries to kind of change the future or the present by making up for what happened to one of his friends. He shamed one of his friends for being gay, and that played a big part in who he is today. And this meant for a really touching moment for with Atticus and Montreux. It was really cool to see that. But before I get into the conclusion to what happens with Montreux in this whole entire situation, with him trying to make a decision, Letty gets kind of her into her own situation as she's kind of cornered and ends up going into, Montrose's father's house with all her family. This is her legacy as well. This is her family pretty much. And this was another touching moment, because this whole scene between Letty and what was it, the great grandmother, I guess. I don't know if there's another great in there. It was all about legacy and preserving your legacy, and they're all there to just pretty much look for the book of names. And she's able to get it, but seeing things burn around her and she's kind of immune to it, it was a really powerful scene, man. Really fucking powerful scene. I really enjoyed that. So going back to Tick and Montreux, we get this really dope scene of Atticus pretty much helping out the younger version of Montreux and George, and I think it's Hippolyta too there, or his mother. And that goes back to the very first episode with the whole Jackie Robinson scene. That was really cool how they tied all that together. But now the time machine is kind of acting up. Hippolyta is trying her best to keep it open. We get this dope scene of Letty walking through the destruction of just Black Wall Street, and this was so powerful. While this was going on, Hippolyta was just going literally Super Saiyan Blue and she just gave it her all just to get Letty out of the alternate timeline, or not the alternate timeline, but out of that timeline. But everybody's able to make it out, and that's essentially how the episode ends. But I really loved everything about this series. We go from an Emmett Till-esque episode to the Black Wall Street, and it's just hitting you in the feels and also giving you dope action scenes at the same time. It's just very well shot and well put together, man. I just can't wait to see how this first season ends, because this really feels like the end, but there's possibly more that they can tell with the story and with Christina. What's going to happen with Atticus? Is he going to survive all this? What's going to happen, man? I don't know. Let me know y'all thoughts and feels about this episode in the comments below. Until next time, I'm out.